Hey folks, episode 57, preseason games, week 1, part 2, coming right at you folks. We got the rest of the games, we're going to finish it off, we're going to finish the week 1 off, and we're going to start with Essendon vs Richmond at the Hangar folks. And the scoreline ended up with Essendon 18 goals 10, 118, so Richmond 10 goals 8, 68. So it was a very interesting game. Started off with Richmond getting off early with a few sneaky quick goals. The first quarter actually finished with Richmond 5 goals 3 to Essendon's 3 goal 1. He had Sam Laylor getting around the ground quite early, getting a few good touches in early. Bit of nice ruck work from Nankervis. But yeah, Laylor was working very hard early. And I thought the one player who surprised me early was El Huck. I think that's how his name was pronounced. He did a great job. Got a lot of touches early for the Essendon forward line. He was a small forward. You know, he was in the right places early. Just noticeable, those just little things as Richmond were running quite hot. So they did quite good early. And all of a sudden, Essendon come along through from the second quarter, pretty much to the last bit of the game. The second quarter finished off with 10 goals 5 to 6 goals 3. So Essendon basically piled on 7 goals in that time and actually ended up going on to basically kick 11 goals straight without Richmond having much impact. We'll go on to the goals. Obviously, Caddy with 4, Langford with 3, Parrish 2 goals to Wright, El Huck 2, Durham with singles along with May, Guelphy, Dersmer and Cadwell, all single goals each, and that's Essendon's goal scorers. And we'll talk about Richmond's goal scorers. LaFou with 3, Armstrong with 2, Houghton, Green, Cumming, Ross, Fawcett, all with single goals apiece. One player that did perform quite well for Essendon, he's gone into a new leadership role, and that's Andrew McGrath. Off the halfback, he is the leader down there, alongside with the young players like Jacob Farah now coming along into that lineup. Darcy Parish coming back off injury looked really good. Was really impressed by him. Played a few good minutes. Had a pretty sort of lengthy first hit out, which is good. Gets him running into his legs. Was swapping in and out of that midfield. Cole Langford, as mentioned, kicked 3 goals alongside Nate Caddy. So Caddy, 4 goals. Very impressed by him. There's no doubt about that. He looked really, really good. Very, very happy with that performance from him. And then just getting up some of the players. So, yeah. Caddy, look, Angus Clark was good as well after, a couple of seasons now, I believe. And Peter Wright was good, presented well up forward as a tall timber to, free up Nate Caddy and Kyle Langford. That covers their tools really good. Look, Xavier Dersman is a player I thought he's got to really step up now. He's no longer a young player. He was, a young player at Port and still did a few years there. Now he's a senior player on Essendon's list. He really needs to perform well. He needs to stand up to AFL level. Sorry about that, folks. So, yeah, he needs to stand up to AFL level and really show that he's the talent that Port Adelaide, and not only that Essendon thought he could be. And he needs to perform. So in the ruck, they had Lockie Blankston and Vigo Vesatini. So the 2 young tools rucks for Essendon. And look, it's a spot that I was pretty critical over the preseason. And it's a spot they need to fill. They don't have a senior ruck. They don't have a big-bodied ruckman. These 2 guys are still developing players. Blankston, he was a key defender. So they've turned a key defender into a ruck. Look, they're going to have to do that. Like I've mentioned, in the preseason, they're going to have to do something and develop some players. I have heard McKay went into the ruck, but no, they've gone with Blankston and also Vessettini, the brother from Port Adelaide. Played his first year last year. So they're really putting a lot of emphasis into a couple of blokes that are undeveloped, and they're going to struggle throughout the year against very good ruckmen, and that's a hard spot to fill. I felt like there was plenty of ruckmen out there they should have got in and just helped these guys. They've got a key defender now taken away from a position, and Vessettini was basically their own sole ruckman in that position. So, yeah, Brendan Frioni in his first game for his new club looked quite good, quite impressive, showed some leadership on that field. Dyson Sharp talked him up a lot over the pre-season. Was actually quite disappointed by his performance. Essendon played him off the half forward, swapped him in the middle at stages of the game. Did get a few touches. Look, it's his first game. Don't want to be too harsh on him. But I'll tell you what, he's a South Australian. We pumped up his tyres. He's at his favourite club. He didn't get in the top 10, and we want you to play like you are a player who deserved to be in that top 10. I expected better, and I'll say that. We're honest here, and I want to see the guy perform and play at his best. Sam Durham, I thought he was really good. Sorry, Durham is how you pronounce it. He performed. He looks like he's had another great preseason. He does it. He always looks good early and then falls off throughout the year a little bit. I would like to see this man sort of develop into a really good player. I thought he was arguably one of the best on ground for them, along with Nate Caddy. Jai Carwell also played well. Coming off a few injuries last year, I thought he really did perform throughout the game with Essendon. And yeah, Jade Grisham, Matt Guelphy, their players are got to start stepping up as well. El Huck, he'll end up taking his spot, like Gresham's spot. If he doesn't perform, I was so happy with how El Huck played. I thought he was really impressive across that half forward line. Max Congoniadis as well, he was quite good, along with Jackson Pryor. Jackson Pryor coming from Brisbane. Looked okay, still got to stand up now. He's his second year at his new club. They really need him to stand up. But yeah, it was basically Laylor early for Richmond, performed quite well. Nankervis in the ruck. And outside of that, they had a few little, they had Sam Grill, looked quite good. Just burst the speeds at moments and coming off that half back. Looked really, poised, but didn't do a real lot. Along with Sam Cumming, he had moments where he looked good, took a grab up forward, did a few things across the middle. But they did rest some of their superstars, like we got here Jacob Hopper and sorry folks, it's just playing up a bit here. Yeah, Jacob Hopper, Taranto, a couple of midfield stars that they did rest, but they had Patrick Rashenko play his first game. Josh Gibcus in that backline coming back. Look, he struggled. The guys got on top of him. He's probably playing opponents that were out of his size. LeFou coming back off injury. Unfortunately, don't drink and drive, folks. He has been done drink driving. So, yeah, do not do those things. Drink driving is a bad thing, and AFL doesn't stand for that. And this man, you're playing AFL football, mate. You need to not do those things and do the right thing. You earn enough money, just get an Uber, play it safe. Don't do silly things. Zane Pecker in his first game, struggled a bit. Taj Houghton did a few things. Ben Miller was obviously the key pillar down the back. Without him, they would have been stuffed. Swansea, Ryan Mansell, all performed quite well. Luke Trainer, he needs another season. He needs a little bit of help as well back there. But outside of that, they do struggle in their forward line. Look, I don't see any of their key tools, their young key tools under Tom Lynch. They just struggled. I don't think they do perform well. It's only pre-season, so I can't judge them too much. You got to give them a chance. But yeah, without Tom Lynch down in that forward line, I just don't see Richmond kicking many goals. And that showed. LaFou kicked a few. But yeah, that covers them pretty good. Harry Armstrong actually did perform quite well. Here's one that just tried all day, and I can't fault him for his effort. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Noah Roberts-Thompson, he only played a little bit, didn't get much game time. Play the man. Just play the man. All your young kids, if you're going to get flogged this year, just play the young kids. Get them, 20-odd games under their belt. Go into next year, get them another preseason. If they still struggle, it's another, it gives them 40-odd games under their belt and go into a 3-year plan to just try and make it up that ladder. That's all I can say. Jordan Shaw as well. That covers the game pretty good. I don't want to go into any more detail than that. Essendon were too good. We don't know how bad Richmond were. And we'll go from there. So thank you for that, folks. We're moving on to Collingwood vs GWS, folks. The Greater Western Sydney Giants versus the Pies. And look, it was a pretty back and forth contest. And early on, it was sort of Giants seemed like they were always on top a bit, and then Collingwood would come back a bit. And obviously with GWS, they've lost a few players due to injury. Finn Callahan, Tom Green, they're big inside midfielders. So guess what? That opened up a role for the new superstar they got from Melbourne. Clayton Oliver just come through the guts and fit in that role perfectly. He grabbed the ball through the guts so many times and was that sort of chain linking player who also had the ability to go on the inside of the contest, hit it hard and extract the ball out to some of their running midfielders. It was an impressive day for him. And we'll just quickly talk about the scoreline as well. We'll just get that up. I like to start with the scoreline, but we'll just, wanted to talk a little bit about the game. Here it is here. Just loading up, folks. Collingwood, 11 goals, 975. To GWS, 17 goals, 8, 110. So a fair bit of difference. Steele 2, Elliott 2, Allen 2, Sylvan 1, McStay, DeGoey, Hayes, Pendlebury also with 1 goal apiece. GWS had Briggs, their ruckman, go down forward and kick 4 goals for them, while Madden went into the ruck for Briggs and kicked 3 himself. So impressive. Riccardi with 2, Gothard, Stringer, Delana, Thomas, Brown, Whitfield, Gorowski, all with single goals apiece. As I mentioned, the 2 ruckmen kicked a few goals for them, and Riccardi with 2. So obviously Jesse Hogan missing the game. He, due to State Origin commitments, the big clunking key forward, they didn't have him down there, and they still managed to kick a nice bag of goals and resting Briggs up forward. So just a little sneaky one by them. But we'll just quickly bring up Jordan DeGoey. Looked fit this time of year, getting over those injuries. He did look good. Got a bit of the ball, moved him across from the mid to the half forward and back again. Mixture of roles. His first hit out of the year, Ed Allen showed some promising time when he played. And here's one, folks. I thought he did really good. Mature aged player from the SANFL, Premiership player, Angus Anderson. So in the first quarter, second quarter, and also throughout the last contest, he was the inside midfielder for Collingwood. And he performed quite well. Mature body. They're in the now, Collingwood. They're looking for now. So they've got a mature body. It's a good lesson for clubs. Give these guys a chance. He's a SANFL Premiership player. And from what I remember, he was best on ground, I believe, for the grand final. Like, they're giving this man a chance. So well done to Collingwood. Thank you for picking up a South Australian. Sturt does a great program. There's plenty of other midfielders in the Sturt team. If you're looking for one, AFL clubs, recruiters, do your job. Thank you very much. So, Tyre Printable, young lad, that was picked up. I believe he was from the Allies, was from Queensland, from what I remember. He looked good. Young draftee to Collingwood. He impressed me really well. He moved across the ground quite good. He had a bit of William Drew about him, but a bit of a smooth mover. Not as classy as a Pendlebury, but still a smooth mover, and impressed me quite good. Looks like he's filled out enough for his body to start an AFL game as well. So I thought pretty good drafting by the Pies from that aspect. Elliott sort of up forward. Look, you got McStay down there as a key target. I feel like the one weakness with Collingwood is if you stop that key tool like McStay, puts so much pressure on Jamie Elliott, as you've seen in the prelim last year. It's so hard for him to carry the forward line weight as being the size he is. But what a superstar he is. A couple goals, played well. Joel Cochran as well, copped at a heavy knock in the marking contest late in the game, but played quite good in that defensive sort of role. They had Steen in the ruck, obviously with Darcy Cameron out. Darcy Cameron will be back. They don't miss in their key ruckman, so he'll be back. They obviously need him. Oscar Steen, that was the ruckman that I mentioned. Cripps, just a normal performance. Tim Rembury did okay. They were just both sort of, played. They did play both forward and in the mid. A standard performance. It's this time of year. You can't expect much. They got through the game along with Beau McCreary. It's pre-season. They're working, you could see they can go up another gear when it comes to the real stuff. But they were just getting it through the game. Houston as well, coming off that hip injury. See him, got through the game as well. Unscathed, but, didn't, be that impressive player he's done. Still side bottom, and Scott Pendlebury, absolute guns for their age. The older fellas, they're still showing it how it is, folks, and they absolutely performed. But yeah, as I mentioned, it was back and forth, and they just, looked good. Obviously, Nick Dacos, Pat Lipinski, Josh Dacos, Lockie Schultz, Harry Perriman, Reef McInnes, Darcy Moore, their main on Jeremy Howe, along with Ned Long. They've got a few other rookies as well that didn't play, but they're the superstars who didn't play. So there's still a lot to come back for the Pies, so you can't really judge them too much. And they'll be a different team come round one. Frampton, obviously, down the back line for them. Harry Demetia, he did okay. I thought he played not too bad, along with Braden Maynard in the back line. Just a standard performance by him. Not much more I can add for the Pies. Look, Lucky Sullivan, Jack Buller in his first game up to the forward line. Look, he's going to take a bit to get used to that forward line. They don't have that key forward that's just a well-recognised name outside of McStay. So, like I said, pressure in the forward line for the Pies. Outside of that, most of the areas they're pretty good. They are going to get better in the midfield with Nick Dacos coming back. So that covers them pretty good. Brent Daniels went off with a hamstring injury during the game as well. That's for GWS, folks. Clayton Oliver was absolutely outstanding for his first game. Connor Stowe, few players that all played pretty well. Let me just grab up some more notes. Army Thomas spent some time using his speed and skills up and down the ground for the forward line. Kieran Biggs was impressive in the forward line for GWS, clunking a few big marks. Also, Cody Angrove went off for injury along with Brent Daniels. Callum Brown also came off in the second half with a foot complaint and rested up his foot. Kieran Briggs and Nick Madden switched between the ruck and the forward line throughout the game and made a significant impact in both areas, with Briggs finishing with 4 goals. As I mentioned, Madden with 3. They were a bit of the difference in the game. Frampton should have got down there a bit better and stopped them. They're not like you recognised key forwards. May have caught Collingwood off guard a bit. Obviously, Riccardi did ruck a bit as a second ruck, so gave Briggs a bit more time in that forward line. So I'm pretty happy with that. Harry Royston as well attended plenty of the centre ball-ups. GWS kept Jake Riccardi as a ruck/forward. So they've got plenty of players there. Obviously, I've said about Tom Green and Finn Canahan. Players missing: Stephen Cornelio, State of Origin; Toby Green, State of Origin; Lockie Ash, State of Origin; Jesse Hogan. So, a few players that are missing. Aaron Cadman as well. Finn Callahan, Lee Collier, Josh Kelly, Toby Mullen, Toby Bedford, Oscar Taylor, Logan Smith. A couple of rookies there. But, few players missing, few with injuries long term, as Taylor as well. So, covers them pretty well, folks. GWS were just too good. Don't sleep on them, folks. They are going to be a team that's going to be hard to beat. Once they get some of their players back as well, it's only going to improve that lineup. Same for Collingwood. They're both they both performed. They both did enough. Both fans, GWS fans and Pies fans, y'all should be happy. They're back in their house. They're back playing good footy. And now we're going to talk about North Melbourne. And Melbourne. This was a bit of a shocker. I thought generally both these teams would be about the same mark this year after last year. But no, it was a bit of a one-sided game. We'll just bring up the scoreline now. So the scoreline was 19 goals, 15, 129 for Melbourne, to North Melbourne 7 goals, 7, 49. An absolute drubbing. You had Cozzy Pickett kicking 5, Kentfield 3, Mychek 2, Chandler 2, Steele 2, Laurie, Fritsch, Thilsthorpe, Langford, Van Ruin, all single goals apiece. North Melbourne, Lucky 2, Darling 2, Dersma 1 single, along with Zaha and Power, all single goals apiece. Look, wasn't pretty early for North Melbourne. Melbourne kicked 6 goals 3 to North Melbourne's 2 goals 4. So he's from an early game aspect. They set it alight pretty early. They had Jack Steele playing his first game for Melbourne after losing a few key midfielders in the trade Melbourne did with Oliver and Petrarca. Look, they did quite well. I thought Jack Steele showed why, he's in the midfield mix for the Ds. He had plenty of touches, looked comfortable out there. The best player on the ground was Cozzy Pickett. That man just ran amok. 5 goals. You got to tag that man. Whatever team plays this team, you're going to have to run a player. Obviously, he's a hard man to keep under the wraps because he's just such a good player. He just looked like he was running around with a license to do whatever at the stage, whatever point of the game. Not only that, if you shut him down, Latrell Pickett's going to just play quite well. I thought he was really good. Shout out to you, mate. Gunnell product, playing Rezzies and then made it into the league side. Just shows you, folks, your dream's not over if you give it a good crack. That to me, Brody Jemajek was ruled out of the rest of the game with concussion after he suffered in the first quarter, so they didn't play with Brody Mychek for a while there. I thought he did still perform as he kicked goal, playing for a team, his new team. Yeah, look, Warlord's a chance to play next week. Paul Curtis as well, while Kobe McKercher, Luke McDonald are all outside chances. So look, from a ruse aspect, they do have a lot of players missing. Look, Larkey performed. Cooper Harvey, had a bit of buzz off the half-back line. Darling, did okay. Look, outside of that, Zane Dersma, I thought played quite good as well. Another preseason. He was in and out of the side last year for a very high draft pick. He needs to perform. He's got other brothers around him in the AFL now, playing different clubs. He needs to outshine the brothers, have a bit of brotherly competition, and try to show how you perform from a ruck aspect. They had Heath rucking for Melbourne and Cherry rucking for Kangaroos, swapping in between other forwards. But Heath held up his own. I think Cherry did come off the state origin. Just wanted to get a bit of run in the legs. So he is arguably one of the best ruckmen. I thought he did good. Ren Ruan looks good after another pre-season. Kentfield as well. I think he was playing second ruck for Melbourne, but also was down forward. Just another tall, 194 centimetres. Just a clunking forward that who can do something. Lindsay, Taylor, Matt Jefferson, Trent Rivers, they all played well. Harry Sharp as well. Bailey Fritsch, looked okay. Wasn't real damaging, but wasn't wasn't out of the game. Just performed well. It was pretty much an all-round performance from the Melbourne Football Club. Harvey Langford as well, going into his second season. Christian Salem performed quite well. Look, I'm just looking through the list quickly now. Ed Langdon had a quiet game but did well. See, they all just chipped in and did a performance, so I can't really pick on an individual performance. Jake Lever as well, played well. But Howes, Sparrow, still some senior names there. Gorn not playing, Stephen May, Jack Viney, Dry Cully, Jake Bowie, Jake Melsham, Thomas Matthews, Shane Adam, Tom Campbell, Kalani White, Harrison Petty, Oscar Berry, Riley Onley, Aidan Johnson, Jack Henderson, Annie Monfries Wakefield as well. Monty's Wakefield, sorry. Some really senior names, some players that are injured. I'd like to see Riley Onley get a gig as well. I thought he was unlucky to go all the way through the rookie draft, a bit like Oliver Greaves. Just, a couple of players out. I just like personal performance from them. But overall, very good by the Melbourne Football Club. Lockie Doverson played his first game for the Pies. Struggled a bit, just like the rest of his team did. But you tried. Finn O'Sullivan, look, he's a player that can be a star for North Melbourne. Needs to just keep performing. Harry Sheasel, Calder Daniel, all just did their best as they do each game, run and carry the ball. Dersma, as I mentioned, Luke Davies, Ernak, he look, mate, LDU, you got to really step up. You signed a big contract to stay at the club. They need you, along with Zerha. Dylan Stevens, a high draft pick, South Australian, mate. You have to absolutely perform. They picked you up to go there, and they need you. They need a gun midfielder. There's no more time for these guys just to be average midfielders or players. They need to really step up. Griffin Lowe in the back line. I think Blake Fredgold should be knocking on the door to take someone's spot in that defensive lineup. This performance by them was not good enough. Jack Darling, he's an older lad now. Like, how much longer is he just going to be there helping Larky? He's just a fill-in spot. They need to find another bloke that's up for the key forward that can actually help Larky. That's where Whitlock could come in for him and do that. If I was the club, I'd just develop Whitlock right now. You look at Port Adelaide, they're developing his brother at Port Adelaide. He's eating 6 meals a day. He kicked a couple of goals. He's developed further than his brother is, and that's actually Whitlock at North Melbourne. He was a higher draft pick, Matt Whitlock. Sorry. He was a pretty high draft pick, so he was higher than his brother. So he needs to perform and show that he was a first-round draft pick. He just was outside of the first round. Can't remember, but he was about the mark of that. Should have went to the first round. That's how much they believed in him. And they actually traded up to get him, from what I remember. And they traded their first-round draft pick. So they did give up some capital. So please, you got to develop the man. Callum Coleman-Jones is back after injury. Luke Parker's an older lad that's trying to help the midfield, just like our Darling is. You can't keep relying on these lads now. I know that he's there and he's still a really good player, but he's there as a fill-in spot to just help as an extra body, a bigger body to help these lads. It's time you guys have got to step up. I'm being a little bit probably harsh on the team It's only pre-season. It can't be too harsh. Con Stanley, you got to perform as well. Jai Sinkman was probably the best player of the day. And to think he may have been traded throughout the trade period, they kept him. And it's lucky they kept him because he was their best player and by far. So there's not much more I can add to that. Toby Pink's got to step up as a key defender along with Comben. So, yeah, that's all I can go with there, folks. I'm pretty happy with that. They're obviously missing Aiden Core, George Waterloo, Corbin McKercher, Luke McDonald, Charlie Sparko, which is a small forward that they need, Luke Urquhart, Zach Fisher, Will Dawson, Taylor Goad, Blake Threadgold, Paul Curtis, Hugo Makundu, who's a good player, he should be getting game time, Josh Goda, Braden George, Jackson Archer, Matt Whitlock, as I mentioned, River Stevens, Zach Branch, Cooper Tremble. So, yeah, they all need to perform and start playing. There's just no time left for that. And we've been harsh, but harsh for a good reason, because the North Melbourne Football Club, they need as much help as they can get. And we're off to the next game, folks. It's my team, Adelaide, versus the Crows, down at Albion, down at the home ground where that Guernsey there is from. Lucky enough to play on that oval, and I absolutely love that oval, and it's my favourite oval, but that's me showing my favourite oval because it's the club of my home team and what I love most. So we get to the scoreline first, and it was Port 10 goals, 15, 75, so inaccurate goal kicking. So the Crows 14-10, who kicked accurately and had to score a 94, so 75-94. Crows won the game. They were accurate, folks, and that's what won them the game. Port Adelaide, Lukosius 2 goals. Berry, Burn-Jones, Evans, Whitlock, Lord, Richards, Burgoyne, Drew with just single goals apiece. Adelaide, big, filthy Thilthorpe. 5 goals, folks. This man is one to watch. Trust me, we'll get to him in a sec. Clearly the best player on the ground of the day. Walker 2, Pedler, Fogarty, Neil, Keys, Rochelle, Jones, all single goals apiece. So yeah, it was a very much a lesson for Harrison Ram to play on Thilthorpe. Harrison Ram, look, there's a lot of talk over the preseason. He's only 19 and he's stacked on the weight. He's 205 centimetres now. He's a couple centimetres growth, and he's also put on an extra size. But tell you what, folks. Thilthorpe showed this man a lesson. I thought there was a few I would describe as pretty weak free kicks. I don't want to go into the details too much. Look, Dixon was a big guy like Thilthorpe. I have like 2 or 3 hanging off him. Never got the luck of the green with the umpires. And arguably, that some you could say they were there, but they're questionable. Our soft, and there was a few. Look, I don't want to turn it into to me, the West Coast and Fremantle game, to not sound biased, so I'm going to add this in as well. There were a few free kick frees that, they got the new rule where you shrug the tackle or whatever. And you get pinged holding the ball. Like, there were some players that just grabbed the ball, didn't throw an arm up or anything, and they're pinged holding the ball straight away. Tom McCarthy, there was one. That was the worst call of the whole week. And we don't want to be critical of umpires, but we need to say the truth. It is performance-based. This is the highest pinnacle of football and AFL. And they need players and umpires. Players are judged and umpires in no different category. And nor should they. It should be performance-based. We want the best players. We want the best umpires. So that was, poor decision for those few decisions. I think Lukosius got caught similar to McCarthy from the Eagles. He was on McCarthy was on the ground trying to handball it, clearly making an effort, and the umpire just called it. They're the frees we don't want in the game. I'm sorry, there's zero tolerance for that stuff. So it's poor umpiring, and that's the bottom line, folks. And we don't need to say much more about it because I don't want it to be it is pre-season too, and they're still learning. So I don't want to be too harsh, but we're here to just say the truth of the matter. And so let's get into the players' performance. Taylor Walker, look, an older lad who performed along with Fogarty and Phil Thorpe. So the three key tools were the issue and for Port Adelaide, and that's generally what won the game for the Crows, the ability to move the ball and hit those targets. Like they've got those three tall timbers. You play in the Crows, you need to play three tools down the back that can play and not be pushed around. Okay, this is probably going to happen throughout the year for the clubs. Just a quick brief thing about this Crows lineup. If you are playing the Crows, you have to play three tools. I think Josh Carr went in playing like Lockie Jones, who could probably get away with playing on Fogarty, but he couldn't. You can't have him just running between him and Tex. Tex needs a traditional fullback, or you could play a centre half back on him. Look, Harrison Ram and Todd Marshall definitely needed to be playing early. Marshall played halfway through the game, and they needed him earlier. So you could probably put Marshall either on Thilthorpe or one of the two, along with so Marshall and Elia are two similar intercepting defenders more than a one-on-one. I mean, maybe put Elia on one of them, and you could probably even have Elia on Thilthorpe. I feel like Harrison Ram needed a lesson to learn, so he's going to be needing to play on the biggest key tool. But yeah, I just Lockie Jones playing on Fogarty and Tex was just no go for me. They tried to use his run off him, just didn't work. So that's the key indicator. If you're going to play this club, you're going to have to put three tools on them. If that goes for all the teams that play Adelaide. You want to shut down Adelaide, please put good defenders on those three players. And that's how you can help defeat the Crows. That's not me just because I'm a Port fan saying that. That's just a genuine, like a shout out to the Crows, because they do have three good tall forwards. Like, this is not like a dig at the Crows. That's their star players. So along with Dawson played across the half forward and into the midfield. So him and Rochelle were sort of swapping in and out of that midfield. Looked good. Rochelle looked good. He's been training house down. Horn Francis went off early with a foot complaint, but just seen on the news recently that he's going to play West Coast, so it's just a precautionary thing. Jack Whitlock up forward without Mitch Georgiadis. I thought he tried all day, kicked a goal. Look, he just had a few wrong bounces, didn't go his way, but just tried to the end. Had a nice set shot, got it through, going against the wind. Thought he looked good. From the ruck aspect, Vesatini versus Lachlan McAndrew was a bit 50-50. I'll just look at the hitouts now just to talk about that. Vesatini had 17 versus McAndrew 18. McAndrews took the role from O'Brien. Took a couple grabs around the ground. Looks good, athletic, got a bit of size to him. Vesatini, another preseason, looked okay. Did a couple things. Took a mark up forward, swapping with Ollie Lord as well. The Crows sort of had, swapped a few different players. They even had Phil Thorpe run through the ruck as well, which Mark Bickley didn't like that and thought he should be a key forward. So do I. I think that man should just be a permanent forward. He's too dangerous down there. Like, he's going to kick 10 goals this year, folks, if you don't get on top of him. Connor Rozee running off that half-back, pretty standard performance for him. Along with Jace Bergwijn, that was running off that half-back at times, with Miles Bergman going into the midfield. Miles Bergman looked quite good. I think he's one that's going to get triple digits in the Dream Team now. Fantasy team used to be called Dream Team. Sorry about that. shows you it should be called Dream Team. I think it's better than Fantasy. Well, everyone calls it Fantasy Footy now, but the Dream Team was a good name. For those who don't know, that's the original name for Fantasy Footy before they changed it. Kane Farrell at the halfback line as well. And Christian Moraes, Jackson Mead, a couple of young players, along with Joe Barry. I thought Joe Barry looked good in spots, still finding his feet. Had a big preseason, so there's a big rap on the young lad. He needs to get in there and just keep performing, mate. He'll get better as the season goes on, I believe. Joe Richards as well, along with Logan Evans. Look, Joe Richards looked quite good. Hit the ball hard. Evans he's in his third season now, coming off in his second year. Struggled a bit without Dan Houston. And to me, that's one player that needs to really step up now, and he did quite well. I thought he played good. I thought he got off the ball. Jacob Ware on the wing played pretty good. I thought he had a few touches. It was I think he's going to own that wing position. Who's the other one? It's Will Brodie in the midfield as an inside midfielder with William Drew, Bergman. I thought they all performed pretty good. Will Lorenz ran through there at times. Connor Rosie did stints in there, but was more off the half back. Jack Lukosius, from the forward line perspective, you got to really step up now, mate. He missed a fair bit of footy last year. Yeah, it's going to take him a bit of time. But, if they're going to run, who are they going to run within that forward line? Ollie Lord. You got Mitch Georgiadis to come back in that lineup. Who's going to be the one that falls out of the lineup? So, yeah. Corey Durden in his first game for Adelaide looked okay. Did okay. He's going to have to earn that spot in the forward line. There's a few spots up for grabs. There's a few spots cemented for the Adelaide Football Club. But from an aspect of them playing against the Crows, well, the Crows, Josh Worrell, Taylor Walker, Wayne Malera played okay. Just a standard performance, but nothing outstanding. Braden Cook played okay as well. Probably could do a bit more. He's going to have to do more to get into that side. There are a few injuries at the Crows. There was a couple more today. There's unfortunately Saligo's had a bit of a heart problem, and he didn't play much throughout this game actually. So maybe that was leading up that he had a few issues. So yeah, so shout out to him. We don't